Okay, I'm going to call to order the City of Menasha Board of Public Works meeting. Clerk Aliazi, could you please take a roll call?
Alderman Tom Grotti.
Here.
Alderman Ted Grotti.
Here.
Alderman Rapella.
Here.
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Sevenik. Here. Alderman Langdon.
Here.
Alderman Kruger.
Here.
Alderman Nichols is absent.
First thing up on the agenda is the minutes to approve for March 18th, 2019. Do I have a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make the motion to approve the Board of Public Works meeting from March 18th, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Tom Grotti. Is there any discussion? See none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to discussion action items, the first thing on the agenda is the street use application for the Memorial Day Parade. Director Adamski, do you have anything to add?
No, it's just standard street use application. Everyone has signed off on it, so we're good to go.
Thank you. Can I have a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make the motion to forward to council the street use application for the Memorial Day Parade. That's on Monday, May 27th, 2019. The time is from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., and that is put on by the Twin Cities Veterans Association.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Tom Grotti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Moving on to discussion action item number 2 is a resolution for declaring intent to exercise special assessment powers underneath section 66.0703 the Wisconsin statutes ponds of Menasha phases 2 and 3. Director Adamski.
This is the final resolution following up the preliminary resolution that you approved at council earlier tonight. This is the second step in the process. Next week, this goes to council along with a public hearing where the assessments would actually be taking place.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Alderman Rapala.
Thank you very much, Alderman Kruger. I'll make a motion to approve R-1019 final resolution declaring intent to exercise special assessment powers under section 66.0703 Wisconsin statutes, ponds of Menasha phase 2 and 3, new street construction, introduced by myself, Alderman Rapella.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a second by Alderman Langdon. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Hey, moving on to the third item is the Racine Street Bridge amenities. Just a brief overlay. The two main items here that we will be needing to decide is the crash barrier and the exterior railing. Director Adamski will be explaining the rest and the proposal and how to go about determining this stuff. And we are going to stay on the amenities. I do not want to waver from the amenities on the discussion. So Director Adamski, can you please go through what we need to know?
So WISDOT does need answers on the crash barrier. The crash barrier goes along with the railing, so that's why I'm having you decide on the railing as well. The crash barrier actually affects the structural design of the bridge, so they need an answer on that. They probably would have liked to have it about 2 weeks ago, but obviously they didn't get me the information in time to get on last week's council pack or Board of Public Works packet to get that. There are a couple of items here. Street lighting, that is the addition of decorative street lights from Racine Street to from Main Street to Broad Street along that roundabout that's going to be proposed. That would be matching the current Main Street lights. The one that was recently put outside of City Hall on the south side of the street is a new light. It's not exactly identical to the old 1991 lights, but it's as close as we can find, and we have seen that no one has really noticed that it's a different light. So we do recommend that. And then there's also the colored concrete terrace. That item would be the addition of an 18-inch colored concrete terrace between the curb and the sidewalk, similar to what we've done on the rest of Main Street with our last construction project. There's a couple of ways that we can go about this. We can either vote on each of these items individually, or for those remaining street lighting, colored concrete terrace, form liner, pedestal staining, aesthetic, bridge house aesthetics, bridge lighting and landscaping, we can get a total number that we want the DOT to work with. I'm okay with either way. I'd like a little input from the council as far as how they would prefer to do that. But I do need votes on the crash barrier and the railing.
Okay, I'll open up the floor.
Okay, that would be the 32SS. So if you guys want to make a motion about the 32SS, that would be fine.
Alderman Sevenick.
I'll move for, to council,
Yep.
recommend the 32SS design for the crash barrier.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Taylor. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can we take a roll call? Okay. Correct.
We need to do a roll call vote. Okay. So we'll do a roll call vote, then bring that back up.
Yes, that is correct. All right, could we take a vote?
The 32SS and the 36SS
Okay, the
are the
voting's
same
reset.
thing,
Could you
just
please
4
vote?
inches higher.
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Okay, we'll move over to the exterior railing right away, and,
So he'll pull up the 4 options that we do have for the exterior railing. So the first item, or the first option would be the Taco style railing. So it's the exact same railing as is on the Taco bridge. Second one, short of having the concrete wall, it would be little circles on top with vertical rails on it. Third option would be vertical rails with a slight arch. And then the fourth option would be the arch with the little circles. All 4 of these options are fully funded by the DOT cost.
Alderman Sevenick.
Well, when we had the photo 32SS with the rail the way it was, I liked that. So if we could go back to that photo right there, I mean, that's what I like. I like actually the breakup with the cement column in there like that. I think that, I would motion to go with the, yeah, with that particular rail, with the,
That's got the arch and the circles?
yes.
Okay, what
That's
number-
my motion, Mr. Chair.
What would the number be on the correct number? for
That would be,
But I like the design with the columns like that. I don't like it solid.
and that would be a later thing, that's the lighting pedestals that they have.
All right.
So that'll be the vertical bars with arch and circles on top.
Yep.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Alderman Rapala. Is there any further discussion? I can't turn you on, Mayor.
Can we just take a voice vote on this? Can we just take a voice vote, Mr. Chair? Can you put the picture up? I think we're all in agreement.
Okay.
Just take a voice vote.
It's this one, right, with the little red barn, the vertical with arch?
But the pedestals are in there.
There it is, okay. Yes, Mayor, if you'd like to say something?
I just wanted to comment that if we want to start creating a consistent vocabulary with things that match throughout the city, we may want to consider the same thing as on Taco Street Bridge. Otherwise, every bridge, everything that we do in the city is all of a sudden different, and we don't create a feel of this as Menasha. So I think both of them look okay, but if we do that, we just have to realize that we don't really create a Menasha look at that point. We just create a smattering of all different looks.
Clerk, we'll take a voice vote on this one. Yep. Well, right, correct, yes, okay. We have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that railing is, approved. Okay, now for the, Josh, you would, prefer to try to take all of them? Is that your preference, or does it not matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me either way. I think that if we do them piecemeal, it's kind of hard to visualize exactly what we're gonna get, whereas if you do a full dollar amount and have, 2 or 3 of the aldermen work on it, you'll have a better idea as far as how they're all gonna fit together on the final bridge, because we'll have some mock-ups once these are, voted on and approved. So it's up to the council how they wanna do that. But I'm more than okay to going at it item by item, so.
Alderman Sevenick.
That's already is.
I like the pedestal. Like with,
Well, that's
And
like the barrier, right?
right,
It's the same thing.
and it breaks it all up. And that with the, so if, as long as Josh understands the motion, I'll move for the pedestal design.
Okay, we have a motion for the pedestal. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Tom Grady. Is there further discussion?
One clarification, the pedestals that we had included with this packet were to have 10 pedestals along the bridge at the light locations. If you want additional pedestals, they're $1,500 per pedestal. So there's 5 lights lighting the bridge, so 10 pedestals would be 1 on each side of the bridge at each location. So do you want additional pedestals, or is those 10 gonna be okay?
Alderman Sevenick?
I'm not a lighting expert. I would think that really, we're here more about the design, and I would think that really it should be up to the Public Works Department and Community Development to kind of look at that and figure
that's-
out what's the best.
And that's where if we get a dollar amount for, how much the city wants to spend on the bridge, that would be the easiest way to make small changes like that, rather than, do it piecemeal like this. So if we, had a number, 200,000, 300,000, how much do we wanna spend on aesthetics of this bridge? And then we'll definitely include 2 or 3 aldermen to make some of those recommendations as we move forward.
This is the way I look at it. When we do something in this community that's gonna be around for generations and generations, we do it right, and we do it where those future generations are proud that we took those steps. And I don't think we should ever, at any point on major things like this, go on the cheap, because we pay for it in the long run. So that's just my comment on that. I think most of us are in agreement on that.
You have anything further? Your light's on.
Oh,
Alderman Rapala.
Thank you, Alderman Kruger. Are we talking about the form liner, that picture with the word caution? Or we're talking about this, because up there it's E, form liner, and now we're on the pedestals, which should be after this, so.
The discussion that we're having right now is to try and figure out, do we want to go piecemeal here and take each of the items separately?
That's
Or
what
do
we
we
have
want?
been doing.
Which is what we have been doing for the crash barrier and the railing. Those two needed to be decided so that the DOT could structurally design the bridge.
Okay.
The rest of the stuff is all aesthetics that doesn't necessarily need the structure of the bridge to change. So there's two options here. We can either vote on each of the individual amenities and say, we want this amenity, we want this amenity, we want this amenity, and piece them all together. Or we can have $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 worth of amenities for the bridge, and depending on the design of the bridge and what certain things are gonna cost, we kind of piece those together to have the best presentation of the bridge for the cost that we have. So those are the two options that we can go with. Either one works for me.
So are we setting amount of money, Josh? We're gonna give it 300,000?
That would be the preferred option. I think we're gonna get a better product that way. I kind of had a couple discussions today that kind of made me think that, that would be the preferred method. And then, obviously, I'm thinking having 2 or 3 aldermen included with that as well, just so that we get your guys' opinions on that too. If you guys don't want to do the money up front and you guys want say on each of these individual items, that's fine too.
So is 300,000 enough, or are you getting this stuff from some cheap place or an expensive place? You know what I'm saying? Or do you need more money than that?
Well, street
We
lighting.
can do Menards and then get something cheap.
Well, it's all through WISDOT, so, for instance, street lighting was estimated at 85,000 to put the
Okay.
decorative lights on. Colored concrete terrace was 6,500. The form liner, if we wanna do all of the piers, full coverage, it's almost $100,000. If we wanted to do just a couple of the areas, it's as low as $2,000. The bridge lighting pedestals, it's $1,500 per pedestal. So depending on how many you guys want for that. The staining can be 85,000 for the entire structure, 20,000 for just the retaining wall, and only 2,000 for the south abutment. The bridge house aesthetics, that can be anywhere from 0, which is the bridge house that I included with the packet, to, I know that there's been communities such as Oshkosh that have spent $1 million on a bridge house. So that one is widely variable. Bridge lighting, that also is widely variable depending on what is desired. And same thing with landscaping. Landscaping, I would probably recommend kind of staying away from that because we can do landscaping with our own crews, but I included it in here since WISDOT included it as a potential amenity.
Thank you.
Josh, going back to what Alderman Rapala was stating, he was throwing a number of 300,000. You kept saying that your maximum number that I noticed that you were saying was around 500,000, as the tops. So if this body decided, okay, they were gonna allow 500,000, well, of course, that doesn't mean you have to spend 500,000 on it, but would that be enough leeway to put together a nice package that you think will satisfy the body?
I do think that 500,000 would be a very nice looking bridge. I think we could get a very nice looking bridge for 500 grand.
And would that include the bridge tower, you believe?
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Tom Grady.
Thank you. I just had, I want some clarification with the pedestals and the lighting. As far, how many lights did you say would span the bridge?
So the 5 lights spanning the bridge would be the standard DOT Cobra heads.
Okay.
So those are alternate sides of the bridge. The street lighting that we had included in here is actually the decorative lights on the roundabout and on Racine Street and Main Street that's gonna match into our current downtown
Correct.
lights.
So, my question then, is 5 pedestals enough on that bridge to span, or are we just gonna have pedestals, running how many do we want to put on? I think 5 might be, on each side would be suffice as a balance that would break up the space with the railing. Just a thought.
And again, if we choose the lump sum, amenity option, that can be decided, as we move forward, and we can kind of get that spacing down exactly how we want it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Thank you, Chair. Question, Josh. So there's A through J here. So items C and D we voted on, that's no cost to Menasha, that's DOT covers. So A, B, E, F, G, H, I, J, those are all Menasha's expenses, is that correct?
If we want above the base gray concrete model, yes, that would be above and beyond what WISDOT normally gives would be at our cost. So for instance, the street lighting, if we went with all DOT Cobra heads throughout the entire project, it would be at no cost to us, but because we want to keep that downtown with the decorative lighting, that's 85 grand. For the form liner, we don't have to put form liner anywhere. We can just have gray concrete. Doesn't look as nice, but it's an amenity that they can add for a cost.
So your $500,000, 300,000 to 500,000 that you want Menasha citizens to pay for is above and beyond what the DOT is going to allow you for these other items.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of agree a little bit with Alderman Sevenick on this. Being that much of an expense to go through each item and to look at things is probably not a bad option either. So I like the whole ball of wax. Let's play with it. We can do whatever we want later on, but I guess it'll all come back to us sooner or later and we have to vote on it. So I kind of okay with that then. Okay. Thanks, Josh.
Alderman Sevenick.
Thank you, Chair. What I would then suggest after this vote is that a possibility of Alderman maybe Tom Grady, because he's got that ability of, he understands the aesthetics of things, and then Alderman Taylor being the other person, being his district, that maybe those two be that representative. That's just my suggestion. Pardon? Oh, it is? It's Becky's district, they said.
No, it's part of mine too. No, the bridge is.
The bridge? Okay, well then,
Gonna put the new bridge. The bridge is Becky's.
okay, then I would suggest then Alderman Nichols, and if she's willing to take it. If she doesn't want to, then Alderman Taylor. But I think those would be the two best people for that, and then they could work out the details and then always come back to the council.
You could also include that in the motion too, to approve that with the ad hoc.
I think it's an
committee.
understanding, and then the mayor and
Okay.
staff can put that together.
All right. Is there any motion? Oh, yeah. So,
We went with the pedestal, right?
There's only one form liner, so it's pretty simple.
okay. Okay, all right. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor for the pedestals. Any further discussion?
Ideally, yes, we would have a number, but I think that's been 10, it has been kind of our number 5 for each side.
Maybe look at that. There may be changes down the line anyways.
Alderman Taylor.
Thank you. I agree with the mayor that, that the lighting should look uniform and on the bridge and with the downtown. And also, I certainly like to be on the committee. The north end of the bridge is in my district, so the new bridge is in my district.
All right, any further discussion on the pedestal? All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the pedestal has been agreed to. Then we can go on to the form liner, staining, the bridge house, bridge lighting and landscaping is one complete, dollar amount. Does anybody have a motion for a dollar amount? Alderman Rapala.
Thank you very much, Alderman Kruger. I will make a motion to provide $500,000 as our point for the bridge aesthetic plan.
We have a motion, is there a second? Second by Alderman Sevenick. Is there discussion? Alderman Rapala?
Oh.
Is there any further discussion? On this one, we will take a roll call.
We're taking a half the building.
That is correct. Okay, do we take roll call?
And I'll promise to stay in budget.
Okay, Donald.
Okay, revote, please.
Again? Oh, there you go. All right. There you go.
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Last thing on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Langdon, second by Alderman Tom Grady. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.